Actually, I think it's really more difficult to define the media's role in the digital age when the digital age means that everybody has the capability of being the watchdog. Everybody, because anybody can publish, has the capability of committing an act of journalism, but it's random. So what is the media's role in a world where anyone can commit an act of journalism, and that act of journalism can be a check on government or can inform us about the democracy, but it's totally random. The old system used to be, we knew who did that. It was the established press, newspapers, radio, TV reporters. Now they have to figure out how do they adapt in this new world where more people are doing the function and there are fewer reporters. Democracy is still individual people voting, and it's, those corporations might control more or of the information we get, but the act of individuals voting is still spread among all of us. So I guess is an informed democracy, is an educated democracy possible when we have a common or less variety in news sources. And although we have six major corporations, we have more sources of news and opinion than ever before, number one. And now, it doesn't matter that there are only 6 corporations, let's say, based in the US, because we have access to worldwide news. And, the BBC or Reuters. So, I don't think, if people want to be informed, they can be. And I don't think that media conglomerates can change that. It might take a little more responsibility on our part, or a little more work on our part, but the information's there, and in many ways, easier to get a hold of than ever. I think PolitiFact's great because it's an example of the role of media in the digital age, which is no longer just to be the gatekeeper, but to be the guide. And PolitiFact helps guide us to good information. What we need now in a world where everybody can be a publisher is we need help sorting through all the crap. PolitiFact does that, and it helps us find the truth, it helps us find good, actionable information. So it's acting as the guide, giving us great information and making it easy for us to find it. And now it's up to us to act on it. When you think of what information you learned from advertising in just this past gubernatorial campaign in Nebraska, even if advertising was the #1 source of information, you didn't learn much from it. You learned that one guy was a businessman and one guy supports the minimum wage. You really didn't learn much about them as people, what they would do as governor, what they believe, what guides them, what their principles are. So I would say it was a general total failure of information. What can you teach people in a 30-second ad? Only tap a raw emotion. I think that's what they're designed to do. No, I don't. I think terrorists are terrorists. They always have been and always will be. Are mass media, and in particular social media with ISIS, making terrorism more effective? Yes, it is. Is terrorism more effective? Is recruiting easier now for terrorists halfway around the world because of social media? Absolutely. Which means that we can either say, wow, that's bad, they shouldn't be doing that, or the government, the State Department, special forces need to be aware of that's what ISIS is doing, and how do they fight fire with fire? How do they use social media? Either to stomp on ISIS's message or to at least counter it in some way. Well, media and democracy are totally intertwined, and when functioning perfectly, our democracy is based on the assumption that it's an educated public that votes, and that therefore we get the best politicians representing us because the electorate has the most information and the best information. That's the theory. Sometimes it works, a lot of times it doesn't. The electorate gets a lot of information, but it's not good information, it's not all true. That's the messy world we live in. The answer to that, I think, is never restraint, though. It's always you try to answer more information with bad information with more information, so that you don't like the incompleteness of information in political ads or in political campaigns. The answer isn't to legislate what kind of ads we can have. It's to have more information that says what's in this ad is wrong.